slick off. He might also tell you that the 37 car of Jeremy Mayfield.
Oh my goodness, we've gone through.
Big crash. Car upside down here on the main straightaway.
Oh, keep going, keep going, keep going. And the track looks to be blocked. Well, there is one lane. The cars are going by there. There's Brett Bodine's involved.
Bobby Hamilton, Derek Cope.
Hutch Strickland gets going. Bobby Hamilton gets going again.
Now there appears to be a fire in the 96 car.
It's over by the brake master cylinder on the car. Derek Cope, Skittles' car is involved. Oh, a car. There's the car that's upside down.
That's Cope. I mean, David Green.
That's upside down?
Yeah. And another car sliding behind.
You ever see David Green, the cat car, coming off the corner, and Derek Cope loses control. He goes up, slams in the 96 car, hit hard blow to the wall. He gets up on his roof, slides down the racetrack, and somewhere about here it's going to go back on its wheels. There it goes over and on its wheels.
Listen and watch.
Well, they got 3 wide there with Kerry Earnhardt.
Whoa, there he goes.
Oh, Bickles around, and Earnhardt got him, and up and over goes the 21 of Quaffle.
Another Richard Childress car, and this one is upside down.
9th caution, lap 183, so close to the finish, and yet so far.
Yeah, you know, I think Bickle came into pits. And I think they must have the car might have been tight, and they must have made a change on it, and the car was really, really loose, and it just came right around on him as they come off turn 2 over there. Comes around. As the 26 car starts by on the outside, it just sucks that back in around.
And there's Kerry Earnhardt.
Kerry, who makes slight contact, but here's the one that, see, he's got the wheels turned, trying to go around Bickle's car, and the car just kind of pole vaults over on its side and then gets upside down.
Looks to the inside of Todd Bodine. Todd comes down the hill, forces him to the inside. The air gets underneath the truck, turns it over. One revolution, and then back on 4 wheels. What a ride.
What a ride. He needs to make sure he doesn't go too fast right now. He's got a flat right front tire. Check out this look. Todd just ping-ponging back and forth, Phil.
Yeah, he bounces off of that Terry Cook truck into Rick Crawford. You can see the tire mark on the right side. You see the wheel still spinning on Rick Crawford's truck while it's up in the air.
He hits the brakes there.
He was finally smart enough to let off. That's pretty. That's using your head. He's flipping over at Daytona, and he let off the gas. I'm proud of him for that. He's going to have a flat right front tire. If he can nurse that thing back to the pits, he might be able to keep racing.
Let's take a ride with Terry Cook. Terry Cook was on the outside. He's the truck that Todd Bodine got into. You see, there's the contact, and Todd bounces off him into Rick Crawford.
Just 3 wide racing off the turn at Daytona, and these trucks are really unstable this year, Phil. They're a little bit loose, and so any turbulence at all could have kicked Todd Bodine's truck sideways, and he had to go somewhere. He went out, hit Cook, then came off. He is getting ready to battle for the win at Daytona.
Got a side-by-side battle for the lead. Whoa! Whoa!
Early on, Chad Chaffin gets spun around and upside down. Chaffin back onto his wheels, and we were on board with Dennis Setzer.
Dennis made some contact. Looks like he was trying to bump draft him, and he got Chad turned around. There's Terry Cook after such a great effort. He was involved in that action a little bit. Another wild ride for Chad Chaffin, though, much like Rick Crawford's earlier today. Coming off turn number 2. See, Dennis is going to get in the back of Chad. You see Chad, it pushes him a little bit sideways. Then Dennis actually turns him around after Chad comes back to the bottom of the racetrack, and way up in the air he goes.
Here comes Terry Cook, joining him for a slide through the grass.
It's like Robert Huffman might have gotten the back of Terry Cook. I see some damage to the front of that truck.
Oh, and it was a pileup behind him.
Yeah, once that bump drafting started going crazy, then they just bunched up from behind. Rudeman had nowhere to go, bumped into the 46. Just a good idea gone bad. when the bump drafting that they were doing on the back straightaway knocked the 30 truck sideways.
Right along with Dennis.
Here he is. Bam, just hit him and got it wiggling. Now I bet you Dennis has hit somebody like that all night long and the truck never moved. You know, you don't know which way Chad had his wheels pointed, and Dennis must have hit him right at the wrong time. Dennis would never do something like that unless he had it calculated out, and for some reason it went wrong.
It looked like he hit him pretty square, but you know, these trucks are pretty light in the rear end right now. A lot of these trucks are complaining about being loose, but just slow motion here. You see, he looks like he hits him pretty square, but it looks like his bumper rides up underneath the back bumper of Chad Chaffin, and that may be why it turned him around. It might have picked the rear wheels off the ground, Michael. And then all four wheels were off the ground.
Yeah, it definitely eventually picked him off, didn't it?
He hit that left front very hard, so they're still checking on the suspension.
And Harvick's getting a run off turn 4. It's going to be a drag race all the way back to the start-finish line. No caution. They're side by side, right to the line.
Big crash. Here they come. Checkered flag. Harvick. Kevin Harvick wins the Daytona 500.
We got one car on his roof coming across the start-finish line.
They're still wrecking. They're wrecking everywhere. Boyer's on fire. Jeff Gordon's wrecked.
And they are still wrecking.
Montoya, Stremme, Kenseth, Biffle, Marlin, Carl Edwards, Casey Mears all crashed on the final lap. New one for the record books. Have you ever?
Well, a couple of times.
Well, he's driving really defensively right now. He's trying to keep Jeff Gordon behind him, and Jeff is working him over. Look at that. Jeff's going to move him up out of the groove and get by him.
Whoa, Busch is around. Can he save it this time?
Oh, there you go.
He does. He saves it. But there's a
Jeff Gordon's upside down. Jeff Gordon's upside down.
And Kurt Busch's car is destroyed.
Oh my gosh.
Pushing on that left side again.
Yeah, he's just working on him, Michael. Kyle was blocking, and Jeff was trying to get him loose and get him up out of the way, and he just got on the left side and spun him out.
Look at the job Ambrose and Boyer did coming through there. And there's our buddy old Brad Keselowski. We ain't seen him up front all night. He's fixing to restart with a chance to win this baby.
Yeah, I asked Larry, I said, is Brad Keselowski in this race?
Well, yeah. Jeff Gordon's car went about 1,000 feet on the driver's door before it barrel rolled to a stop.
Yeah, Brad Keselowski in that too. He's in that backup car.
You see Jeff down there. He just gets down on his left corner, and we've seen that time and time and time again.
You got to stay off the left side. What do we do about that, though, man? How do we fix it? The drivers just have to make the decision that they've got to lay off that left side.
Look at this long slide for Gordon. And that's Kurt Busch tangled up with him and Jimmy Johnson. And that car still hasn't lost much of its momentum as it goes side over side and comes to rest.
Michael
on
made
its roof.
A really good point, though, Mike. These cars are so much bigger than the cars were 5 years ago. With the safety innovations that NASCAR has built into these cars, the drivers moved over to the center of the car 6 inches further than ever before.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. to the bottom of the track. Junior will win at Daytona. And the big one happens behind them. Oh, my God. The three of Austin Dillon into the catch fence. All the crews getting out to that car to assist these drivers. Thumbs going up from all the crew members, and the crowd roars. Look at the catch fence on the front straight. Take another look at this real time.
Keep it behind you, keep it behind you, keep it behind you. We're on the go, we're on the go.
The white flag is out.
They're going to crash.
with a big run. They're crashing. Christopher Bell upside down. Christopher Bell. Watch it.
Well, Daniel Hemrick almost went underneath that Ford truck of Christopher Bell.
It's a testament to the safety of these racing vehicles that Christopher Bell can take that kind of ride and then drop the window net and climb out.
Very fortunate that these trucks are as safe as they are. Look at this truck just get out of control. Probably about the fastest part of this speedway, Phil, right out of the tri-oval.
It just starts tumbling.
That young man with his dirt racing background, I'm sure he's had many barrel rolls in his career, but none like that.
And Michael, I know you've been upside down. I've been upside like that. The flipping's not that bad, but it's the landing that hurts. And that thing landed about 6 or 8 times pretty hard.
What about Brandon Brown? He slides through there. Looks like he's going to be credited with a 4th place finish.
I think he might have got in the back of William Byron, and that's what got in the back of the 4 of Christopher Bell and turned him sideways.
Wow. But we saw, you know, experienced driver like Timothy Peters. Let's watch this view.
You cover the record, back it up, back it out.
Wow, he had to turn hard left to avoid the flipping Christopher Bell.
You're right, Phil. All that pavement down there.
Johnny Sauter inside. It's 3 wide.
Making that hole.
Forced his way to the middle.
Middle of 3. You're middle of 3. Come on, 13. You got a guy coming to you. Not over. Keep digging.
They're crashing. Rhodes into Crafton.
Keep digging. Damn.
Crafton up and over.
And Cass Gralla looks to me like will win this race.
When the trouble happened, it just was a very aggressive push.
Yeah, it looked like Grant Enfinger was trying to help. Ooh, look at Matt Crafton up and over.
There's Johnny Sauter up in the middle of the mess. Grant Enfinger was pushing right there when the track flattens out.
Yeah.
Around goes the 27, catches Crafton, who thought he was home free.
Exactly in that spot where you said you didn't want to be pushed, where the track changes a little bit of that elevation.
It's nearly impossible to do it cleanly, and this is just way too much right here. Enfinger would have been much better off just to tap his partner, tap his buddy past Crafton, but he got too aggressive. It's the last lap, you understand that. But look at the impact by Timothy Peters. And look at Gralla just sneaking through that hole.
Right through the middle. And how about Austin Wayne Self right behind him? Chase Briscoe as well as Crafton goes up and over. Wow.
30-some hundred pounds of race vehicle just floating around like a feather. That tells you how fast these guys are going and how crazy things get at the end. He's still not on the ground.
Oh, Briscoe gets loose. Austin Wayne Self around. Heavy contact with the 99 of Peters up and over. There's the replay of the accident that brought out the final caution in the wild ride endured by Timothy Peters.
It looked like the 22 of Austin Wayne Self just got a little bit loose on exit of turn number 4. Got into Johnny Sauter. Watch him get loose on the bottom. Gets into Johnny a little bit. Turns him sideways. Ben Rhodes able to get by. Timothy commits to the bottom. Austin Wayne comes down there. Wild ride for Timothy.
Sadler, big run right there. You saw what he did.
Oh, around goes the 60. Austin Cindric wrecking in front of the crowd. Daniel Hemrick's caught up. Tyler Reddick, Cindric, barrel rolls.
When you're done, Tomlin.
Lands back on his wheels.
Up the racetrack a little bit. Matt Tiff's going to try to drive in there to get to his inside, and they just got together. 60 of Austin Cindric just wasn't on the very bottom of the racetrack. Opened up a little bit of hole that Matt Tiff you thought was there, and then you see right here the contact with Reddick. Started Cindric's flipping. That's very unusual to see a car flip that late after initial impact. So here we go above.
Jeff, you knew it was just a matter of time. It was trying to get really bunched up too wide, and Matt Tiff thought it's under 20 to go. He had to make a lane. You see that tumble, as you mentioned, really rough for the 60 car, but basically Matt Tiff thought it was time to try to make it 3 wide, and we've seen that before, Dale, out of the tri-oval. If that inside road doesn't protect the double yellow line, that's a place that people get runs, but that was late into the corner for Matt Tiff to look underneath the 60.
That is a late move, and it's difficult to be able to, you know, for the spotter to give that information to the 60 that he's got a car underneath him. But there was room there. There was room to go, and Matt decided that was the move he wanted to make.
You'll see right there, there's a little bit of a hole. It looks like he has room to go to the bottom. And when he went to go, it just closed up. And, you know, we always like to point a finger and say, this guy messed up or that guy messed up. And many times it's just racing. I mean, it's people going for a spot.
Pretty wide. Up in front of the car, push.
This is the seat that I wonder, guys, as we ride along with Custer, to see a little contact there, but I think
inside. Go high now.
he doesn't know where the 21's going to go.
So flies once again. Haley, not a great restart here as Ryan C gets off to a good start, and now they're 4 wide going into 1.
That's it.
Oh, and around goes the 7, hard into the outside wall.
Buddy, hang on. Hang on.
On the apron, the 21 of Anthony Alfredo was into the wall hard. He's upside down, sliding through 1 and 2.
Next thing we know, we're 4 wide on the apron, Jeff.
Yeah, everybody's got to go. Everybody has tires trying to get in track position. And Allgaier was just on the apron, entered the corner on the apron, and ended up getting up into the side of the 21.
Yeah, he ran out of, I mean, at some point, you have to make the corner. The corner has the banking. There were so many cars above him, he couldn't get up on the banking. It looked like he lost control. Take another look at it. Focus on that bright red or orange number 7 back here. That's kind of where the whole thing starts.
And normally you think you're going to get down here and you're going to slide up into the racetrack, but he just never had a chance to. Allgaier just kind of, I think, needed to give that spot up and get out of the throttle, but knowing there's a race win, if you can make it work, maybe ahead of you, just chose to stay in the gas.
And look at this car. It gets up on its side. It's sliding. You know, these cars have roof flaps that design them to stay on the ground when you see a high speed rollover at, say, a restrictor plate track. But here, that wasn't really an aerodynamic thing. The cars aren't going at top speed on this restart. That's just the force of this car hitting that outside wall, throws it up into the air, and then, Jeff, as we saw, it slides to a stop on its roof.
Yeah, he's got to get to the top. The top's going to have the biggest energy here. 21's going to come with a huge shove.
They are 2 and 3 wide behind him. Crossover,
Here he
that's
comes.
Austin Hill in the 21. Big crash, up and over. Caution is out. That's Myatt Snyder.
Looks like he's moving around, winning that down. That's a good sign. I believe Austin Hill's got this.
And the leader, Austin Hill. But keep this in mind. We freeze the field when the caution comes out on the final lap. So NASCAR will have to review to determine who was leading when the caution came out. First start in his rookie season. It's Austin Hill who gets it done at Daytona. And here's what happened behind him.
That's just a bad scenario. Once you get turned around backwards, if he doesn't get hit in the front end, it probably doesn't get airborne. But it's just, you got the other car wedging underneath the front to get the lift there. But it's great to see, like Chad talked about, the safety innovations of these cars. You know, to see Myatt just walk right out, that's a great sign.
And I would be anxious to see how close it was at the time of caution. Because look right here, it looks like the 16's out front. Whew, it had to be really close.
The caution wasn't out at that point when they left our screen, so he was clearly ahead by the time he left the bottom of your monitors on television. But unfortunately, Anthony Alfredo getting into the back of the 31 and creating that issue.
Wow. I mean, look at that car.
And look at the grass that's flying in front of him.
Where's the engine?
Oh, wow. The engine's gone. I mean, this kind of like a Michael Waltrip wreck that we saw at Bristol, where it's just, or the Jeffrey Bodine, right?
Kyle Larson front straightaway here at Daytona years ago.